Hey, Legacy team, I hope you're doing great and hope you had a great weekend. I hope you'll take the time to watch this video as I've got a couple updates on where we're at and then next steps that we'll be taking. But I want to quickly share with you something that I've been working on with a leadership team, and we've been going through the laws of teamwork. And laws of teamwork basically saying if you've got a big dream, then you better have a big team. And this week we're working on the law of Mount Everest. And basically what we're talking about is as the challenge escalates, the need for teamwork, it elevates, right? So we live here in Mississippi, and if I'm going to hike the highest mountain here in Mississippi, which is Woodall Mountain, I could probably go do that on my own, right? I can make it to the top and down on my own. I wouldn't have to hire a tour guide or hire a bunch of people to be my supply team. But if I'm going to Mount Everest, then I better have a tour guide. I better have a big team to help get to the top and back down. There's no way that I can make it to the top and back down on my own. And if we think about real estate, we could all probably go flip a house on our own, right? We probably all, a lot of you watching this probably have done that. But we're talking about a 3-story mixed-use facility in downtown Tupelo. That requires a big team. And whenever I started thinking about that, and if we've got to sell condo units, who needs to be on my team? We go to the best, Jason and Neil. And I think about trying to rent out commercial space. Who's the best? And we talk about Clay. When I asked Neil, who's the best to get this idea that I have onto paper, he immediately said, Scott Emerson. And I talked to Scott, and Scott is the guy. So I appreciate you guys being on the team and being part of this dream moving forward. So a couple of things real quick. I met with a bank this week. I met with a couple of banks, a few banks, but this week I met with a bank, and some of their requirements to move to our next step. Our next step is, kind of our next big phase is that construction phase. But to get to that phase, their requirement was 15% cash up front and 50% occupancy. Most of the banks I've been talking to are about 20% up front with a 50% occupancy. That's commercial, residential, doesn't matter, but it needs to be 50% occupied with letters of intent signed and those kind of things. So what I want to ask you is, for Jason and Neil, when you're going out selling, what else do you need from me to be able to get to that 50%, to be able to go out there and sell? I know Scott and his team and Blair House team are working on floor plans. They're also working on an amenities list. But is there anything else that you need from me that I can get you to set you up to succeed and make this happen? And then for Clay, is there anything that you need from me that will help you to go out and get the commercial leases sold? I also met with a possible tenant/investor this week and have another one coming up at the end of the month with a tenant/possible investor. So they're chipping right along right there. And so when you think about who do you know that might have an interest in investing something like this, so we need about 1.7 million. That's 20% of our current budget, our current construction costs. Current construction cost is 8.3 million. We need 20% to get to that next step. 20% is 1.7 million. So who do you know that might have an interest in the investment side of it? It could be one person or an investment group. So if we're looking to get an investment group, I really would not like more than 4 or 5 individuals to be a part of that group. So these are high net worth, high cash people, right? So if you know of anybody, I would love to sit down and talk with them and talk to them about the opportunity and what it looks like to get their return and those kind of things. So the goal is within the next 6 months, I would like to have those 2 things nailed down. Who's our investment team that can give us the 20%, whether it's one individual or an investment group? So who do you know? And then that 50% occupancy. 50% occupied. A couple of tenants that we know that we talked about is New Care. I'll be following up with them this week. Hopefully we can get a letter of intent signed and see where we're at there. The financial group that has shown interest, I met just out and about, saw two of their guys, and they were asking me about it. If we had any new updates, told them a little bit about where we were, and they gave me the name of who we needed to talk to. So Clay, if we can sit down and if we need to make that happen, whatever we need to, the Capital Financial Group. And then Orangetheory, I've heard tons of people say they want Orangetheory down here, and that's exactly kind of the tenant that we were looking for, right, from the beginning. Spoke to a lady that works at an Orangetheory in Starkville. She said she's reached out to the owner of that owns this region, and he's not interested in selling, and he's not interested in moving into Tupelo. Then I talked to another guy who's actually friends with the owner of this region and said that he actually would for the right person. You see, he wants a owner operator to open up in Tupelo. So he doesn't want a detached owner, somebody that buys in and then that's away. He wants somebody to buy in that's going to be there. So if you know of somebody that would like to be an entrepreneur and open up an Orangetheory, hey, there we go there too. So those are the updates that I have for us. Two things. The goal is within the next 6 months to get to 50% occupancy and 20% of the investment. So if you know an investor, and what do I need? Is there anything that you need from me to help you do whatever you've got to do? So guys, I appreciate your help. I really do. This is going to be an awesome project when we get going, and I'm excited that you're coming along with us on the journey. So I hope you guys have a great day, and God bless.